Next on Worcester News Tonight, an addiction specialist stops in Worcester today to share her message. Addiction is treatable and preventable. Plus, one local funeral home says a new shipping container will allow them to store more bodies. But city leaders are concerned about the legality of doing so. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. An addiction specialist speaks in Worcester Monday in hopes of spreading the word. Ruth Poteet has been a doctor for more than 2 decades and specializes in addiction. She, as well as other officials in the area, hope to eliminate the stigma around addiction so no more families have to suffer. Our Cam Jandros in Worcester tonight with those details. Cam?
Anna, addiction is something impacting families across the United States. According to the American Addiction Centers, 9% of men and 5% of females battled addiction in 2017. That, coupled with the opioid crisis, is making for a dangerous situation, which has medical professionals looking for solutions. Been an addiction specialist for more than 20 years. She says a lot has changed over those 2 decades.
And I think people hear addiction and they think just opiates these days, but there's all kinds of things that take over our brain. Our kids are often controlled by their iPhones or other screens.
Poteet spoke Monday at Expungement Community College as part of National Recovery Month.
Many of our students are either recovering or they struggle with it at one time during their tenure here. So we like to be aware of the issues.
In 2017, American Addiction Centers reported nearly 20 million Americans 12 and older battled substance abuse.
90% of the people incarcerated at Worcester County House of Correction have substance abuse disorders. So, obviously that's a very high percentage of our people, and we work very hard with those who want to meet us halfway.
This is a treatable brain disease, substance use disorder, and it's very hard to beat. So I feel like we need a little bit more compassion.
Statistics released by the Department of Public Health show opioid-related overdose deaths increased by 21% last year.
I guess if one were to find only one silver lining in this opiate epidemic, it is that the level of public knowledge and understanding about addiction is so much higher than it used to be. And
Poteet's goal? Eliminate the stigma around addiction and show people it's a preventable, treatable disease.
it's not easy. If it were easy, we'd have solved this problem long ago. Instead, it's a lot of work to get over addiction.
Now, Poteet says she doesn't want to downgrade the impact marijuana has on the brain. She wants to study that to see if there's a correlation between marijuana use and addiction. In Worcester, I'm Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
A Worcester man is facing serious charges tonight. Police say he tried to kidnap a young female on West Boylston Street. According to police, the young girl got off the school bus and began to walk home when 37-year-old Jose Palo allegedly approached her, tried to grab her arm, and told her to get in the car with him. Police say Palo told the girl her mother sent him to pick her up. The girl told police she had never seen Palo before. In other news, a school bus company is receiving backlash after picking students up late from school. Some of the students from the Nelson Place Elementary School are nonverbal. The Durham Bus Company confirms some of their routes ran late on Friday, and they did receive calls from concerned parents and guardians. The company's spokesperson says staff absences and missing name tags on students were a few reasons for the delay. He goes on to say in a statement, "We made an administrative error pertaining to routing on our end, and we apologize for the inconvenience this caused for our passengers, parents, and guardians." The company met with Superintendent Maureen Benenda Monday and is making adjustments to keep this from happening again. Tuesday at 5 p.m. is the final day for candidates to drop out of the mayor's race. As part of the Worcester's charter, all candidates running for at-large city council automatically run for mayor after making it through the preliminaries, unless they formally pull out. This year, 13 candidates are seeking an at-large seat. During last week's preliminary election, Mayor Joe Petty was the top vote getter with more than 5,000 votes. The Massachusetts Department of Transportation identifies a low bidder for the Kelley Square redesign project, meaning the work may be one step closer to reality. Bidding for the project opened on September 10th. According to MassDOT, J.H. Lynch & Sons is the lowest bidder at $14.68 million. The project will include a hybrid roundabout or peanut design and Worcester's first dedicated bike lane. The bid is being evaluated by MassDOT, and the next step will be to award a contract if it's accepted. Work is expected to begin next month. A Worcester funeral home director is known for taking in unclaimed bodies, but recently the amount he had stored was in question. Now city and state leaders want to be sure funeral homes are following all the rules when it comes to unclaimed bodies and cremation. Our Aaron Keating has the details.
Going to be refrigerated and with a backup generator.
Peter Steffen says a new storage facility will fit up to 15 unclaimed bodies. His funeral home is under investigation by the state for the improper storage of unclaimed bodies. The Graham Putnam and Mahoney funeral parlor director says he didn't think what he was doing was wrong.
A misjudgment maybe, or we felt maybe the paperwork could come quicker and we assumed we get the paperwork quicker.
In May, Worcester's Board of Health voted to create their own form for the cremation of unclaimed remains. The form was completed in August, but by then Steffen was already storing bodies left unclaimed at the hospital for longer than he should have been.
Disrespectful to leave a dead human body. It's somebody's mother, father, sister, brother, or child, or something.
After complaints of suspicious odors were issued against the funeral parlor, an investigation found the improper storage of decomposing bodies. Worcester's medical director, Dr. Michael Hirsch, says the details of the funeral home's inspection were disturbing.
It was a rather shocking kind of inspection.
Dr. Hirsch says although Steffen's intentions are good, the investigation has now created a bigger issue.
Over the years, Mr. Steffen has been a tremendous community resource in helping to find a resting place for these unclaimed bodies. But I think this time he held on to them for way too long.
Dr. Hirsch says funeral homes should take turns when it comes to the cremation of unclaimed bodies. Steffen says the storage unit is open to anyone who wants to use it.
We believe, and I know the city manager has worked very hard with the other funeral parlors in town to see that some kind of a rotation could come so that not all of the burden of these bodies falls on Mr. Steffen.
Once it's done, it's available to anybody who needs it. Another funeral home needs it, no charge.
Dr. Hirsch says he doesn't think the storage unit is the proper step to take in terms of what to do with these bodies. He says he expects to hear back from the state about possible repercussions for the funeral parlor within the next few weeks. In Worcester, Aaron Keating, Worcester News Tonight.
The Worcester County District Attorney is holding a seminar Wednesday showing people how to expunge their record. The option comes from the recent criminal justice reform package. Early says there are guidelines and qualifications which must be met.
So if you were transporting alcohol when you were 20 years old, 15 years ago, okay, you can get that off the record. And we're going to talk about what qualifies. People under the age of 21. Instances where things are no longer crimes, where you might have had someone who stole your identity and you were never the person that committed the crimes.
The event will be held this Wednesday at Clark University's Hagen University Center at 5. Police say they've arrested 2 more men in connection with the murder of a 30-year-old man. Prosecutors say the body of Benjamin Pacheco was found burned in the woods last week off of Granite Street in Worcester. Alicia Palumbo has the latest developments.
Less than a week after a man's body was found burned in the woods, wrapped in bubble wrap and a blanket off Granite Street in Worcester, 3 Worcester men have been charged in connection with his murder. 27-year-old Daniel Rivera and 35-year-old Primitivo Matos were arraigned in Worcester District Court Monday on charges of accessory after the fact to murder. 35-year-old Rafael Guzman was arraigned on the same charge last Friday.
Mr. Guzman had a relationship with the victim in that the victim was basically his step-uncle.
The victim has been identified as 30-year-old Benjamin Pacheco, a native of Puerto Rico who was a music producer known as Benny Beeps.
He suffered a sharp penetrating wound to the neck and his manner of death was homicide.
Investigators say surveillance video showed Rivera's vehicle driving up and down Granite Street last Tuesday morning and stopping for several minutes near the spot where Pacheco's body was found. But prosecutors allege Pacheco was actually murdered here inside Guzman's Great Brook Valley apartment.
Mr. Guzman and 2 other individuals were observed carrying a large bundle wrapped in plastic bubble wrapping material from the inside of 36 Great Brook Valley and putting it into the car.
Those 2 other men were later identified by investigators as Rivera and Matos. Prosecutors say both men had the same story when interviewed by police.
He acknowledged that he was in the apartment. He acknowledged helping to remove material from Mr. Guzman's apartment, but denied knowing that any of the objects he removed was a body.
Rivera was given $75,000 bail, while Matos was given $150,000 bail, but both had open criminal matters, so their previous bail was revoked. In Worcester, Alicia Palumbo, Worcester News Tonight.
A shark tagged off of Cape Cod is named in honor of a fallen Central Mass police officer. The Massachusetts Division of Marine Fisheries and the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy have named this 12-foot white shark Ronald Tarentino Jr. The Auburn officer was killed in the line of duty in May of 2016. Both groups say they're grateful for the service and sacrifices made by police officers.